How you doing, guys? Big Mac Dan Skull here again today for a nice, chilled Sunday morning stream. I say a nice, chilled Sunday morning stream. You may have noticed on the studio camera there that I have got the old desk light on. I was thinking about doing a little work whilst I was chatting away, but there's no guarantees. I've got myself a suitable mug for the day after the Beast Snagger box has launched. So I'm going to be touching on the Beast Snagger box and my thoughts on the launch and the pre-order and whatnot. I'm also going to be updating you on my Hobby 365 challenge, how it's been going. I've not got any pictorial updates, but I might show you a miniature or two that maybe I'm particularly proud of, enjoyed painting or something like that. But in general, the challenge is going well. But who we got in the chat today? Let me know. Just say hi. If you want to lurk away. Just the weird thing about lurkers is, I mean, the lurkers help the channel because the more concurrent viewers you get, the better. But we've got Lono. Welcome, mate. Welcome to the stream. Pleasure to have you here as always. #1 mod in that chat. Yeah. So the weird thing about lurkers is they help the channel, but it's just odd to not know who's watching you sometimes. So if you do want to lurk away, Teen Matheson, lurking while crafting, fantastic. Yeah, so if you do want to lurk away, but you don't mind just saying hi, letting me know who's watching, then that's perfect for me. Yeah, don't feel pressured to say hi if you don't want to say hi. Teen Martins it is, isn't it? Promise there'll be no rants today, no worries, mate. You'll get kicked out. You get kicked out if there is. So, you know, I have the power here. By the power of Dan Skull, I have the power. It's supposed to be a chill stream, this, and I'm shouting loud things already. You know, I never noticed that before. The name Dan Skull sounds a little bit like the name Grey Skull. Is it teen or tine, though? Is it teen or tine? That's the question. Right, well, yeah, so the 365 challenge, should we start with that? I suppose we should. The 365 challenge is going well. I'm going to list off now all of teen, right, cool. All of the first, I'm going to list off now all of the miniatures that I've managed to paint this year. Obviously, like Tina Turner, but with an E on the end instead of an A. Lovely stuff. No, I'm not really going to list off all the miniatures I managed to paint this year because that would be quite weird. Hey, I've just realised something. The studio cam isn't up on this one. It doesn't matter. We don't really need it, do we? Yeah, I was having... Oh, I know why it's not up, though. We can get that up quite easily, I think. Oh, actually, I don't know why it's not up. It should be there. Oh no, it's not up on this screen. That's the thing. You don't need two Dan Skulls in a short space of time like that. We'll be getting He-Man references for the rest of the day. You know what though? Master of the Universe is out like this Friday in the UK on Netflix, I think. So you might be getting Master of the Universe references for the next few weeks. Getting He-Man references for the rest. When I say Master of the Universe, is it called He-Man Master of the Universe? Basically, the Kevin Smith show run. The He-Man show that's run by Kevin Smith and written by a lot. He's written like one or two of the episodes, and there's a writing team on it as well. I think he's written one of the episodes. Might be wrong. Anyway, yes, let's crack on. So the first miniature I painted this year was a Mega Knob with a custom shooter and claw. The second miniature I painted this year was Gorzag Git Stomper. Technically, no, I think that was right. Yeah. Because I finished that Mega Knob while I was watching Let's Make It Orchid on New Year's Eve on Twitch. And Gorzag and Nickit as well. I finished them in that same sort of period, but I think a day or two later. I thought you were talking about... No, not the 80s Dolph Lundgren one. But yeah, fantastic movie as well. Who doesn't love that movie? Yeah, I'm not really going to be going through listing all the miniatures. But when that first week of this Hobby 365 challenge, can you tell I've got no script for this show. I don't really know where it's going. I'm just waffling on. That first week of this Hobby 365 challenge, I think, was quite important for me because I had to sort of realise that I could just more or less, not quite, but more or less just continually paint and not suffer from burnout too much. I'm opening another button on my shirt because I'm getting warm already here, and I've got a hot coffee that I'm ready to start. So try not to get too warm watching with this extra button open. This shirt's now open down to the bottom of my sternum, but try not to get too excited. I know it's hard, but I can ask it of you anyway. It's awesomely bad, and Frank Langella really hams it up and steals the show. Yeah, I've not watched it for... I did. I'm sure I watched it in like the early noughties, like when it was on Channel 5 or something. And yeah, I'm sure I watched it again then. It was on Channel 5 on a Sunday morning or something like that. But yeah, it's been a while since I watched it, so maybe we should chuck that into Walkie's movie night on Discord. Did you see the film I put in the suggestions today, Lona? After someone suggested Dazed and Confused as a school-related movie, I put another school-related movie in the suggestions there. I don't know if Walkie's seen it already, but I just put it in just for more of a laugh. It feels like I might as well have put an adult movie in there. But yeah. The first week of this Hobby 365 challenge, I think I had to realise that I was capable of continually painting without too many breaks, without stopping and starting a new project. And I had to realise I had to get into the habit of completing projects. And it's one thing that I started last year, towards the end of last year, when I'd had a Rucker Truck Squig Buggy since like a month or two after they came out. I bought like a few of the buggy sets after the buggies came out for Orcs, and I had a Rucker Truck Squig Buggy roughly since, like I said, a couple of months after they came out. And I'd been sat on that kit for so long, and that's often what I do. I buy kits and I sit on them for ages. And there'd been a few projects last year. I say a few projects, but just a few things I did last year that sort of encouraged me to start buying something and then getting to work on it straight away. Now, it doesn't mean everything I buy I get to work on straight away. My Norzilla, for example, is just here. You can't quite make it out. It's a bit blurry, but it's here. My Norzilla from Cromlech. And I've got a load of the stuff from, was it last year's October releases from Cromlech that I've not started building and painting. Although I've just thought of a very small one that I could get built and painted this week just to keep that number ticking over of my Hobby 365 challenge. But yeah, last year was kind of like, especially towards the end of last year, it was a time for me to realise I could complete projects, and I had to sort of focus more on completing projects rather than starting new projects and getting distracted by other little projects. I saw that we shan't talk about that in this wholesome stream. Yeah, I don't think it's appropriate for this wholesome stream, quite frankly. But I used to love that movie. My DVD, though, went missing, and I don't know where it is. I still have the DVD case. I don't have the DVD for it. I don't know if it was in an old DVD player or something that got thrown out or something like that. I'm not sure. But anyway. Yes. So I had to focus on finishing projects, and there was Sergeant Ripper Jackson, which was a miniature that I bought, and I thought I can get this built and painted in a week if I want to. It's only one miniature. Theoretically, I should be able to build and paint one miniature within a week and get a video up showing me building and painting it. So I tried to do that for YouTube, and I managed to do it. And I was like, wow, well, that actually only took a few days, and then the editing of the video took a few more days. And I was like, well, maybe. And it's painted to a standard that I was quite happy with. Should I grab it out of the cabinet for you and show you? Maybe I should. Yeah, let's. Why not, eh? Why the devil not? Let's grab that. So we've got something to spin it round on. So this miniature I bought when it launched, and it was sort of a turn. I don't want to say a turning point in my approach to painting or anything like that, but it was something I wanted to make, sort of attempt to, or prove to myself that I could change my painting habits. This Sergeant Ripper Jackson miniature, I wanted to prove to myself I could change my painting habits, and it's painted mainly with contrast paints, and it's to a decent standard, I think. You know, compared to my standard, this is like the higher end of my standard. It's only one miniature, and there's certain things, to be fair, like look at that doesn't even look like it's finished. That looks like I've left that unpainted. So I could go back in there and work on that, put a name on the sword or something like that. But yeah, this is, to my standard, this is like a good standard for me. And I did this, and I was really happy when I finished this miniature, and I almost sort of proved to myself that I could buy a miniature, build and paint it in a shorter space of time than I thought I could, because I've got so many projects since I got back into the hobby about 8 years ago. I've got so many projects that I started, and I just didn't get around to finishing. So this was sort of a test mini for me to see if I could push myself to complete more miniatures this year, or not this year in particular, but you know, because this was released in October or something last year, I'm not too sure, but just to see if I could change my habits of putting a project to one side and continually paint until one miniature is complete. So that's that miniature, and then after that I discovered Orky on Instagram. Lona was there in the chat when I discovered her, I think. I discovered her through, what was the channel called that I discovered her through? I can't remember, but she did an interview on another YouTube channel. Oh, wait a minute. Lady Hammer. I discovered her through Lady Hammer. She was having a chat with, can't remember Lady Hammer's real name, but she was having a chat on that channel about being a lady in Warhammer, in the Warhammer hobby. And I'd just like to say, Orky's anything but a lady. If you watch her Twitch streams, you'll know that. But yeah, so I discovered Orky there, and I got used to everyone in the chat and everything, and then Orky started streaming on Twitch, and I decided to challenge Orky to a paint-off, a red gobbo paint-off. And so I did what I quite often do when I set myself when I get an idea in my head for a conversion. I did what I so often do, and I had an idea in my head for a conversion to make the Rucker Truck Squid Buggy, that's why I was talking about it earlier, into a sleigh pulled by squigs, and have the red gobbo riding the sleigh pulled by squigs. Because there was a few things I'd seen, like the pump wagon, the Snotling pump wagon, that I thought, I could use that kit, not realising how small that Snotling pump wagon is. It fits on like a 32 or a 40mm base or something, that miniature, and it looks proper ramshackle. But after I bought the Snotling Blood Bowl team and I realised the size of it, I was like, well, I can still use the idea of it, can't I? And so I blew it up, sort of thing. I scaled it up, and I used the Snotling pump wagon. I just expanded it with cocktail sticks and stuff like that, and really simple things to just scale it up, and it still looks like one miniature. I'm not going to show you that miniature today, just because if I start moving it around, I think bits will fall off of it. Will they? I don't know. Maybe I will show you that miniature in a bit. Not just yet, though. So I built and painted that by the 24th of December or something. And I think the video challenging Orky went out on the 1st of December, something like that, roughly. But it was like right down to the deadline that I was finishing finishing that miniature, and I think I actually finished it like at 1 a.m, so technically not before Christmas Day, so I cheated basically. Oh, what a tease! I know, what a tease. And of course, Orky took the approach of a painter with the Red Gobbo miniature, and she added like a really nice snow base and stuff like that. You really were pushing it. I know I was. She added a nice snow base and stuff like that, and she painted texture onto the miniature and everything. It's fantastic, Orky's Red Gobbo. But then there was a community vote, and I promoted the vote on my Twitch channel when I started Twitch streaming. And of course, because I did a really elaborate conversion, mine won, because Orky's was a Red Gobbo miniature with a fantastic paint job, and mine was a ridiculous conversion. It's like a Santa sleigh, but it's a Rucker Truck Squig sleigh. So I converted parts of the Rucker Truck Squig buggy into this Snotling pump wagon that I scaled up. But because, again, the reason I'm talking about this, again, that got me into, or made me realise again, I can finish projects, I can finish miniatures. Because I've got behind me here, and I mentioned this on a lot of streams, so this is a Gorkanaut / Morkanaut. This is a Gorkanaut conversion. It started ages ago, a few years ago, just after the Gorkanaut kit came out. So I started that a few years ago using a drop pod, and I've still not finished it. A good few years ago, so it's probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I think it came out in 2015. Could be wrong there though. I might have started it like a year later or something. But the point is, that's been there for about 4 or 5 years, unfinished. I mean, it's not been there; it's been in different places. But yeah, that's been there, unfinished, and that's maybe one I should think about finishing again. And again, you know, like the Norzilla kit I mentioned earlier, you can't really make it out, but it's just here. That's one that I need to finish. I'm thinking about working on that one this week. I've got the Howdor that goes on its back sat on the desk in front of me, just hidden under some hobby detritus and debris. But yeah, that's another project I want to get finished. And after that first week of the Hobby 365, I realised I could finish projects and stuff, and I've had the odd week and the odd month even when I've been less excited about painting, and I've had a little bit of burnout and stuff like that. And I've had times throughout the year where I've just been feeling a bit down and stuff like that, and I've been therefore less enthused about painting. Not just, you know, just a bit down in my general life, for one reason or another, and then I've been like less enthusiastic about painting because of that. And I think at times like that for me, I take a step back from the hobby. Some people push themselves into the hobby even more. But for me, when you're not feeling like painting, I think, in my case at least, it's best to not push yourself, because you're going to fall out of love, aren't you? You're going to probably not be happy with the results of the paint job because you've forced yourself to paint, where if you were in a better mood to paint, you're likely to get a better result with the paint job. So yeah, the 365 overall is going really well. Until the tail end of last week, I was behind, and I'd been behind, going through a little down period in my life. I'd been behind for roughly a month. But I'm pleased to say, currently I sit a week ahead, 5 days ahead. So I'm okay until this Friday. If I don't paint another miniature until Friday, I'm still on schedule, or ahead of schedule slightly. But I am planning on painting more miniatures this week, so don't worry. I'm not going to allow myself to fall behind. So I finished a batch of Space Marines this week, Imperial Fist Space Marines, and they've been an interesting one for me, because I was painting them when Conquest magazine came out. I was painting them for battle reports, and I was going to paint them in the order that the magazine came out, and then use them in the battle reports as I was going week by week, issue through issue, like tutorial mission through tutorial mission. But once that magazine ran on the old edition rules of 40k, and then the new edition came out, so it seemed kind of pointless making the battle reports. So I just kind of I put that by the wayside, and but I know I can paint those Imperial Fists relatively quickly. So having them to one side, and I've got the ones from Indomitus as well. Having them there to one side, I just need to tweak a few things with the Indomitus ones because I've done a lot of converting on them, or a fair bit of converting on them, and kit bashes and stuff. So I need to tidy a few things up before I start painting those ones. But having them there, ready to rock and roll kind of thing, it's kind of like a nice safety net for me as well. I relied a lot this year on zombie side and getting all the zombies from that painted up, because whenever I've needed to do a batch, I just thought I'll paint 8 zombies because they come in sets. There's 8 different zombies in the original zombie side, repeated something like 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 different zombies repeated something like 10 times, I think. So I think there's about 80 zombies in the set. So 80 of the miniatures I painted this year, or not 80 actually. I think I'd already painted 16 already. So 40. What am I doing? 64 of the miniatures I painted this year have been zombies from zombie side, which I'm not too bothered about the paint job on, to be honest, so I can kind of rush through them. But I've also painted a lot of orcs. I painted 15 meganobs alone, 15 meganobs. I've touched up and rebased boys and stuff like that, so at least 20 boys and 2 knobs with the boys have been touched up and rebased. I've done Gorzag Git Stomper. I've finished Gazgul this year. I've finished Makari this year. So my orc force my war is growing, and that's the important thing, because I wanted to get a playable force of 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 points ready to play people like Loner, people like Orky when we have a meet-up later in the year. So overall, to summarise, the Hobby 365 is going really well for me, and it's been really good to encourage me into the hobby, into this hobby, and sort of wholeheartedly jump in with 2 feet, probably for the first time ever, or potentially for the first time ever, jump in wholeheartedly with 2 feet. I need to mute that, silence that. I think it's just telling me, oh no, it's telling me I've uploaded a video, that's all. It's this live stream. Oh, I've got my Orky mug, just in case you weren't here when I showed it off at the start. This is a 6+ Stevo mug, one of only 2 around, I believe. You watched it last year when binging some awful childhood movies. What do you mean awful childhood movies? You better not say you watched Street Fighter last year as well, because that is one of the greatest films of all time. I had you on small screen as I was replying to the Doom. I had no chance of seeing that. Oh man. Excited for the speed paint of Beast Snaggers. That's the thing, right? Here's the thing I am thinking about doing. Now, not a speed paint technically, because I'm a very slow painter anyway. The Beast Snaggers, should we save that till a bit later on? Yeah, let's save it till a bit later on. I'll go through the chat. There's only 2 of you in chat, so I can get through this pretty quick, I think, unless you start typing loads of questions in like mad people. But yeah, let's go through the chat, and then I'll show you. And then I'll start talking about Beast Snaggers. I think I'm only going to go for about an hour today, just to let you know. And I don't know how long I've been going so far. How long have I been going so far? OBS 31 minutes. So I've got to go on for another 29 minutes. Oh, I need to sneeze now as well. Let me mute my mic. I thought I wasn't going to mute it in time then, and then I almost started speaking when I came back without unmuting. I mean, Earhawks, welcome mate, welcome to the stream. Good afternoon. Oh, you live in the future. Crazy person. Yeah, just chatting today, mate. So whack me on while you're doing some hobby or something like that, if you are doing hobby at the minute. So I've spoken about how the 365's going already, the Hobby 365. It's going, to summarise, it's going really well. But I will be speaking about Beast Snaggers and stuff, and I don't want to touch too much on how the order went for people, because I know for some people it's been really frustrating. Not being able to get hold of it, or basically the way GW are doing like a a really limited release of it, and the fact that you can't get the codex separately yet. It's frustrating for people. I know Loner in Orky's chat yesterday was... excuse me, I could have muted my mic for that as well, couldn't I? Disgusting. I know Loner in Orky's chat yesterday was... You could tell he was frustrated. The length of chat that he sent, you could tell he was frustrated with the lack of availability outside of the Beast Snagger box of the Orc Codex currently. Morning all. Hope you are well. Morning Tabletop Ready Minutes. You're a regular now. You're a regular in the stream. Welcome. Pleasure to have you here. I think I'm going to be going for about another half hour, 40 minutes, something like that. But Raul Julia was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Addams Family and Street Fighter. Right. Did I even get to the bottom of the chat, or did I just start rambling on? I remember the build-up. It was a great challenge. You deserved to win. It was mental, and I loved it. Thank you very much. Yeah, should I get it out now? Should I get the Red Gobbo out now? This, I feel like the Red Gobbo and my Rooker Truck Squig Sleigh conversion, I feel like this is almost like my version of Orky's Boomdacker Snazwagon that she gets out. Where what I mean is, I poke fun at Orky for getting the Boomdacker Snazwagon out because it's her best painted miniature and she's so proud of it. And I think it's the first one that she painted to a much higher standard than her previous painting standard. She really dedicated herself to painting it and pushed herself to painting it. And it took her a little while to finish. And I think people have those sort of landmark moments in their painting journey. And I was touching on this earlier before a lot of you joined us. But the Hobby 365 challenge and completing projects has sort of been that trigger for me. I had a few paint jobs last year. This is one of them. I'll just show you for those that weren't here earlier. So I painted a few minis last year that sort of pushed me into completing things. So this mini, this won't sound like a big deal to a lot of people. I work with a big Neil. Yeah, this won't sound like a big deal to a lot of people, but I built and painted this miniature within a week. And for me, that was unheard of at the time. And then the challenge with Orky, setting myself a goal and finishing it, that was like a trigger point for me or a starting off point for me to prove to myself that I could complete projects. I'm just going to go behind myself. Going to go and grab the Rooker Truck Squig Sleigh. Where is it? It's not over that side. It is over that side somewhere. Oh, I know why you can't see it. Because you can't see that side of the cabinet. Way! I'll grab that and then I'll show you that. So the Rooker Truck... Oh, I can't even get to it. So the Rooker Truck Squig Sleigh was one of those projects for me, similar to Sergeant Ripper Jackson, that really proved to me that I could complete projects. And it's helped me a lot. Oh, I am getting caught up in wires here. So this is why I didn't want, because I know how messy my desk area is, my workspace. I wasn't entirely sure I should be doing this, but let's see if I can get you a decent view of this Rooker Truck Squig Sleigh. Yeah, there we go. You can sort of see it. And it's a bit rough and ready and messy, but it was more about, rather than doing a perfect paint job on it and stuff, it was more about completing the project and the conversion and everything like that for me. So this is a Rooker Truck Squig Sleigh. It's a Rooker Truck Squig buggy piloted by the Red Gobbo, who comes dressed as Santa nowadays rather than a revolutionary grot. So you can see there it's got a squig launcher, and on the back here this is a different squig launcher. This is a small squig launcher or something, I think they're called, or one's a large squig, I can't remember what they're called. So this is basically a rock attached to a chain and tension on the chain. This little grot's cranking something. It lifts this rock up. You drop that rock, the squig buggy drives along, and that flings the squig forward. So that's the other squig launcher. And then all these squigs on here, they're just having a billboard time. Pulling that, I say they're having a billboard time. They've each got a staple in the back made from a paperclip, where the chain feeds into, so that just goes straight into the flash. And they're just pulling that squig slate along and cracking on with their sacred duty to help these grots in their revolution, or maybe not revolution. And then there's the main part of the Rucker Truck squig buggy that I used, slotted in the back there. These bits are all cocktail sticks. These bits of wood here, and the very front bit here, that's the Snotling pump wagon that I based it off of. And I'll spin round here. You can see on the other side, that's how small the Snotling pump wagon is. It's like that bit, and then goes down a bit and across. Oh, you can't even see it's behind my head. So this section here, down and across to the back, that's the Snotling pump wagon, basically. Oh no, actually no, not across to the back. It is just that very section at the front. And this is the base from the Snotling pump wagon. Yeah, so it's a 32mm base, I think. There we go. Let's get rid of that, and I'll check out what's going on in the chat. Thank you so much for all the lovely comments. And I'll go back to the big screen now. Excited for the beast paint of the beast snaggers. Yeah, the speed paint of the beast snaggers, rather. I'll get back to the beast snaggers in a second. Just want to go through the chat. I remember the build was a great challenge that you deserve to win. It was mental, and I loved it. Thank you so much. When I have a dip in my build flow, I cut bricks of foam, knowing I will need them someday. You know what? That's a really sensible thing to do as well. If you're not up for building really, but you just want to be doing something you can probably do when you're watching TV or something like that. So basically, you're having to chill out from the hobby. If you can snip parts off a sprue, or if you can cut bricks from foam, something like that, you know you'll be using one day. It's a really sensible thing to do that, and a sensible approach to take, I think. And while I cut bricks, other ideas pop into my head and ready to go again. That's really cool. Those Imperial Fists are very well done. Such smooth yellow. Thank you very much. I'm not going to be getting any of them out. I've been rearranging my cabinets a bit because they were becoming sort of. They were becoming full. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately. I mean it's a good thing because I'm painting a lot of minis this year. That means. So now my Imperial Fists are in this cabinet with other Imperial stuff. So I've got Sisters of Battle and Imperial, a couple of Imperial Knights in there. I've got more Imperial Knights than that there. I've got Orcs and finished Orcs in the cabinet there that you can't quite see. There are some Beast Snagger style Orcs in here, and that's going to become my Beast Snagger shelf, I think. And that's going to become a second Orc cabinet, I think. But at the minute, it's got some Necrons on the top shelf there. And yeah, I've been shuffling a lot of stuff around recently. But I need to properly organise it. And once the 365's done, I'll give you a tour of the cabinets maybe. So you can actually see what I put in each cabinet. I've since learned that several tournaments have banned the new codex until it's available. You know what? That's a really sensible move to make. So Lona was saying and he's got he's spot on when it comes to tournaments and stuff like that. Lona was saying in the chat yesterday, in Orki's chat yesterday, when he went kind of into a bit of a rant, everyone has them now and again, about the Beast Snagger Codex only being available with the box. So at the minute, there's technically 2 codices that are legal. And I don't care what GW says, it's codices, not codexes. So technically there are 2 that are legal, that are tournament legal, because one's not available to everyone. Not everybody has the new one, so the old one therefore has to remain legal. But you can't get like Beast Snagger units in the old codex and stuff. And there's different stratagems. There's different different profiles for the same weapons. That's one of the main things, I think. So Mork, the Roar of Mork, I think it's called the Roar of Mork, Ghazghkul's weapon. It is in the new codex a DACA 36-inch DACA 12-16 weapon, whereas in the old codex it's I think it's an assault weapon, and it's 30 inches, and you get 12 shots with it, flat 12 shots. And it's not just that weapon. There's a load, like most of the weapons are different in the new Orc Codex versus the old Orc Codex. So having 2 Orc players in the same tournament, where what they should do, someone should do a test tournament where there's Orcs using an old Codex versus a new Codex, just to see how much, or a series of test games, let's say, just to see how bad it is, how bad the difference is, kind of thing. Yeah, so like in a friendly game, I was saying to Lona yesterday, in a friendly game, if I'm in a store and somebody's got Beast Snagger units but they don't have the new codex, or they've got Beast Snagger units that they've converted up or something like that, but they don't have the new codex, then I'm happy for them to use my codex to see the rules and stuff like that. Now, no doubt they'll have access to the rules from nefarious sources, but yeah, from rules leaks and stuff online. But I'm more than happy if they need to check rules and stuff like that to use my Beast Snagger Codex. And it's probably a good time to just start talking a bit more about Beast Snaggers in general, because the release, right? I'm still a bit nervous about getting my copy of Beast Snaggers, because I got mine from Element Games, and when Orky went on Element Games, she saw that there was just 10 units left to order. Now, I didn't realise Element had a live stock level system. But yeah, the main reason I'm nervous is because I'm worried, because I know it's happened in the past, I'm worried Element might have outsold their allocation. So I should get the Beast Snagger box, but there's a chance I won't. And if I don't get it, then so be it. I'll get a refund on my money. Element Games were selling it for full price, so I'm paying as much as anybody that got it from GW. It's just, it was right there for me to order from Element, right there, right then. And I still had something like 10 minutes in the queue on GW, or 6 minutes in the queue. And then I stayed in the queue on GW, and I kind of thought, should I get another one just as a safety net? And I thought, no, because if I get one from GW, someone's going to miss out at least for a week. Even if I sold that one or used it in a giveaway or something like that on my YouTube channel or my Twitch channel, even if I did that, it's going to be at least a week before someone else gets that box. So it's not really fair. Somebody else might want it. So I chose not to get a second box, as a sort of safety net. But I'm in a position where I could have gotten 2 boxes, I could have gotten 3 boxes, I could have gotten 4 boxes. I'm under no great financial strain at the minute, so I could have gotten multiple boxes, but I thought it's best not to, because I know that'll upset someone. So there we go. Yeah, so Lona's since learned that several tournaments have banned the new codex until it's available to everyone. What would have also been interesting, I think they would have had legal issues from GW with this, is if the tournaments could have provided copies. When I say copies of the codex, I mean like a printed out copy of the codex, something like that, so that everybody could use. But obviously for list building purposes, that's no good, because they can't distribute it prior to the tournament. But they could, on the day, if somebody wanted to use the Beast Snagger codex, they could have had a printed out copied version of it, given it to anybody using Orcs who may have used leaked rules online to build their list. They could have given it to any of these Orc players that have entered and said, use this today and we're taking it back off you at the end of the day, something like that. So theoretically that's not illegal, actually. So I think it would have been a grey area that the tournament organisers probably wouldn't want to go into. Building a stairway for the castle now, fantastic. So some lazy Sunday crafting fun. That's what everybody needs on a Sunday, I think. Sometimes people get into the head they've got to get everything done and, you know, finish projects and stuff like that. Like I was saying, like I needed to get out of the mindset of being too lazy in my hobby. But now and again, you just need a lazy day of hobby. Yesterday was a lazy day of hobby for me. I'll show you what I was working on now, and it's bee snagger related. So this is what I was working on yesterday, and I've not quite finished it. There's a few little things that I want to hide, essentially, but this is a pain boss conversion that I was gonna enter into the Orc 40k Community Mayhem Challenge. I think it was Mayhem. But I didn't manage to get finished in time. Another one of those projects that I still don't finish every project in the timescale I intend to. But yeah, I sort of wanted to come up with the idea so the idea was there for the future, because I had an idea in my head at the time and I needed to make it happen, because the new pain boss that's coming out soon that runs alongside beast snaggers and stuff, it's a lovely mini. But he's got these bionic legs that make him run fast across the battlefield. He's not really using them for that on the new pain boss. He's a little bit static. He looks like he's got a lot of potential energy in those legs. But yeah, he's a tiny bit static, I feel like. So I had an old Pain Boy miniature and I wanted to use that as a pain boss and convert it somehow to make it look like a pain boss, because one thing I've never liked about the old Pain Boy miniature is the head. So handily, the new pain boss wears a mask. I could have put any head on here, but I wanted to make it look like the pain boss visually. I wanted you to look at it and think that's a pain boss. So one of the heads for the pain boss is an iron mask head kind of thing. So I went for a burner mask, the one with the cigar sticking out. And yeah, so that's the head I went for anyway. So it's like the Doc in Battlestar Galactica. The guy, he's always smoking, and he's like, he doesn't care. He smokes around his patients and stuff like that. This isn't Earth, Battlestar Galactica. This is set in another galaxy or another Lona's been deleting messages. What did that say? Something hateful towards me, I assume. Yeah, so it's set in another part of the galaxy, not another galaxy, I don't think. And yeah, so is it Doc Coddle or something like that, I think. And he's always smoking. I can't remember. I think he smokes thin cigars or something. But yeah, I thought, yeah, that actually works quite well for orcs, because like an orc doc wouldn't care whether he smokes around his patients or not. And I took a Blood Bowl arm, because it's got this nice shoulder pad on it that covers things quite well. Turn this arm round and look inside, and you can see there's a big gap there. So I may well want to hide that with a bit of green stuff, but I think, to be honest, the arm actually connects on the inside. It just looks like it just looks dark in there. I think because it looks dark, once I spray it, I'll have a better idea. It looks like a bit of a void under there. But what I might do is just stuff a bit of green stuff in there just to fill that gap, so it looks like less of a void. Yeah, and this. So I had a Zagstruck miniature, Boss Zagstruck. Here's his body. So I had this miniature, and I bought it off eBay for a couple of quid a few years ago, and he had a missing left leg. So I thought, well, I'm not really going to use that miniature for Zagstruck anymore, because I've since won a giveaway for a painted Zagstruck. So I was like, well, I'm not going to use that on the tabletop myself as Zagstruck, so I might as well use it for conversions. So I thought that's a perfect leg for one of these pain bosses. So I wanted to use that leg somehow for this pain boss. And I thought, oh, it'll be perfect, because the pain boy's missing a leg anyway. Only thing is, it's the other leg. So I was like, right, okay, no worries. We can still use that as the right leg. I'll just chop his right leg off. And then his left leg, which is like a peg leg, I'll work something out. And this is a bionic leg from a Flash Gits kit. This is like the thigh part of it, so the knee would be roughly like here, I think. So what I've done, I've used that as the bottom part of this the bottom part of this leg. And it's like he's got a bionic knee joint He's got flesh underneath the knee, flesh above the knee, and then it goes into the bionics there as well in the shin. And then I've added 2 plasticard claws to sort of match up a little bit with Zagstruck's vulture claw feet. So it doesn't match perfectly, but I like that sort of, you know, ramshackle Orky Doctor design of like you've got this guy's leg, you've got that guy's arm kind of thing. And if you look at the miniature, he's got a chunky leg on this side, but he's got a chunky arm on that side. This arm's a bit weedy compared to that one. This leg's a bit weedy compared to that one. So it sort of balances out on either side of the miniature in kind of a daft way, in my opinion. Oh, and the other thing I really didn't like about the Pain Boy was the Pain Boy claw, because it was just too involved with all these bits and syringes and stuff. I was looking for a way to add this back to the miniature. I was thinking I could use it to cover up some sins over here, but I don't know exactly how to do it, whether I just snip them off at the joints and sort of hang them on like a belt section or something. But we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, so Flash Kit leg, Zagstruck leg, Burner helmet, Blood Bowl arm, Pain Boy body, Pain Boy arm. So yeah, I snipped all the excess fingers off and I've put it on like one of them newfangled snapper claws or whatever they're called from Beast Snaggers. It might be a slightly different thing for the what are they called? Pain Bosses, but we'll have to wait and see. That Pain Boss is looking very cool, mate. Thank you very much. Means a lot coming from you, Essex. Yeah, so really happy with it so far. I was tempted to just spray it this morning and start painting it on stream, but I've been letting the green stuff set overnight, and there's like a gap developed over here because I was very impatient yesterday. But I say I was very impatient. It took me the whole day to do it. But I kept wanting to work with like different parts over here and over here. So this bit of green stuff just kept sagging down a bit. So there's a bit of a gap developed there. So I need to either get that filled or hide it, and then I can crack on with that conversion. Let's go back to the opening stream scene, shall we? You might just have a build day today. Fantastic, Lona. What are you going to be building? Are you going to be building some Orc vehicles? I'm guessing you saw yesterday, Alona, in Orky's chat, Squig wants us to take on all comers with a mighty war at some point. And he was getting excited thinking we had all clans represented with only 4 of us somehow. No, we don't. Well, technically, I've got Goths and I've got Death Skulls. I've got mainly Death Skulls. I say I've got mainly Death Skulls. I've got a lot of these weird orange boys, which I class as Goths. But I've got like all clans mixed in with my war, but essentially Big Mac Danskull, who will be my warlord, is a Death Skull. I think you're Evil Sons, aren't you, Lona? But correct me if I'm wrong on that. Squig is Bad Moons, not Bad Moons. I hope he's not watching. Squig is Snake Bites, and Orky is Evil Sons as well. Assuming you are Evil Sons. Otherwise, I redact the as well. So yeah, we need ideally a Blood Axe. We need a Bad Moon. Is that it? Blood Axe, Bad Moon? Sure, there's another one. Can't think of it. Someone's going to be shouting at me in the chat now. Oh. I did apologise if anyone thought it was being salty that excuse me, I didn't get a box, was having a go at people that did. To be clear, I chose not to get the box as I didn't want new mod. Yeah, right, Lona. Yeah, right. You're just a salty sea dog. Only joking. Yeah, Lona even, he wants the codex because he wants to be able to build his list. But he, Essex is a goth. He wants the codex. He wants to be able to build his list. But he even passed on a codex because we know someone that's got a second box because they want all of the models all of the time. And so Squig got a couple of boxes. He's also got at least a couple of the Orc sides of the Orruk, the Cruel Boy sides of Dominion, which I'm still not convinced those boys look very good in 40k, but he's doing amazing conversions on them. Make sure you check out the Squig Lebowski on Instagram. And you'll be able to see those conversions. So he's turning the Cruel Boys into commandos, which ironically, we're getting new commandos. So he started doing that before he realised we were getting new commandos when the new version of Kill Team, or the new Kill Team Octarius box comes out at some point. I reckon probably November, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Might be sooner, because they are giving us a lot of the rules drip-fed recently, so might be sooner. But in hobby, like, I feel like a lot of the time months tend to fly by, even though you're moaning a lot, saying, oh, when are the Beast Snaggers coming out, since they first showed us back in April or whenever it was. But, you know, we're here now. The Beast Snaggers have been pre-ordered by everyone that's managed to get a pre-order them. And if you missed out on the pre-order, here's one thing to say. Get in touch with your local GW, get in touch with your friendly local gaming store to see if they are going to have any in store. Because if Element Games come back to me and say, we're sorry, but we oversold our allocation, then that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to phone my local GW and say, Mr. GW store manager, sir, your Beast Snaggers, you're getting them in store, yes? How many boxes are you getting? And have you had a lot of interest? Are they already pre-ordered? And then I'll camp out the night before. No, I won't. If I miss out, I miss out. That's the thing I said earlier. But hopefully Element Games will come through for me. Because I've paid them money, so theoretically I should get the products, but that doesn't always happen. I'm glad I managed to get a box. I want to play a few games with my brother using it before he leaves for the winter in September. Oh yeah, hopefully you'll get to them, mate. I'm sure you will. Fantastic. Well, if they update the app first thing on Saturday, you will be able to at least build the list with the new rules. Yeah, exactly. And if the thing is, if you can get it on the app, the app doesn't work on my phone. That's the problem. Because the app is so glitchy, I can't open the app on my phone. And I've managed to open it like a few times, a handful of times. There was a period of about a month where I could open it, get into it, and build a list and stuff. But now the app doesn't open on my phone again, so I've unsubscribed from the app. And yeah, that's the frustrating thing. When Warhammer Plus comes out, you get access to the app with a Warhammer Plus subscription, and like you're paying for the app separately. But if that doesn't work on my phone, then what use is it to me? Do I get a discount on Warhammer Plus because of it? Doubt it. Yes. Good morning, welcome to everyone who has just joined us. Well, thank you very much, Lona. You're very good host, a very good MC. Thank you very much, Jack Flack Flame. Is it? You're right. It is a cool conversion. Look at that big head. Look, it's getting bigger. Wow. I don't know why I do that. Like, if someone gives me a compliment, a lot of the time I go, I know, yeah. There's nothing nefarious in the deleted message. Just hit return instead of delete, so you got a half written jumble. I did that. I was talking to someone on Instagram, a streamer. I was talking to them on Instagram, and I sent a message before I'd intended to. I was like, don't reply before I've managed to fill out the rest of the message, because I can't be bothered retyping all that again. Blah blah blah. I'm talking to him right now, and he pointed out that there's quite a bit of gold on the vehicles, so maybe Orky can take the Evil Sons, and I'll go Bad Moons. Yeah, nice one. Perfect. Or freebooters. Yeah, I go freebooters. To be fair, freebooters aren't actually a clan, but freebooters aren't actually a clan, but I think most people class them as a clan and treat them as a clan. They have a different set of clan traits, don't they? Or, well, we have to see in the new codex, I suppose. I don't know if that sort of stuff's been leaked. I imagine it has. Oh, I'm a goth and a Bad Moon, says Essex. Well, I'm not a goth, but I have some goths in my force. I welcome all comers to my war. Bad Moons are my favourite. I kind of like, excuse me, I kind of like the new clan culture. Less rolling. Less rolling? Oh, less rolling dice. Right, okay. I get you. He got my 2 Cruel Boy sets, and I got 10 Gut Rippers from another source. Oh, and he got 10 Gut Rippers from another source. It's crazy. Crazy. if Earhawks had to choose, I'm not going to force you to choose Earhawks. It's okay. I'm not going to force you to choose. But if you had to choose, you'd be a goth. Also, remember, there are no exclusive models in the box. Everything will be available separately, except the shiny limited edition cover art. Exactly. That's the thing to remember. You with FOMO, fear of missing out, it can be really frustrating when you do miss out on something. So it can really get you down. It can get you down, frustrated, angry. And you can lash out on message boards and on Facebook groups and on Discord channels and stuff. And people do it. People have rants and stuff like that. But sometimes it's good to take a step away from all the social media and just realize that at some point in the hopefully in the not too distant future, you're going to be able to get all the kits separately. Fingers crossed. What are we in now? July, August, September. Hopefully we'll get them before October, but it wouldn't surprise me if they launch a lot of the Orc stuff in October. This stuff that the Beast Snagger stuff at least, that you can't get anywhere else at the minute. It wouldn't surprise me if they held it off till October and said, this is October. Hey guys, remember October? Remember that? Morning Rich, welcome to the stream. Pleasure to have you here. I've had a hard time picking my favourite. There are so many cool new models. Maybe the Deathcopters. One thing I'll say, just to my personal taste about the Deathcopters, I actually prefer the Black Reach ones, which you can't get now, so that point's kind of moot. You can get them on eBay now and again, but yeah, that point's kind of moot. But just a slight bit more consistency within the unit makes me prefer them. Although I always say how I love how orcs look. I like to make my squads of boys look different from one another. I like to make boys within the same squad look different from one another. So theoretically, I should like the little bit of variety within that Deathcopter unit. But for some reason, with the Deathcopters, I actually just prefer the Black Reach ones. They're just that similar shape, that similar outline. Almost like they've been mass-produced by people who just bang them together kind of thing. People, orcs, boys, grots, bang them together. My least favourite model, and I think I spoke about this maybe on the last stream when we were taking a look at the Kill Team box and that. My least favourite model, there's two that are vying for position, but one is part of a model, one is a complete model. And one might surprise you. Hey, that's like a thumbnail, isn't it? Like one of them YouTube thumbnails. What's Big Mick Danskull's least favourite model? The answer might surprise you. Yeah, so my least favourite model is the Beast Boss. I can't remember what it's called. You know that one, it looks like, from the front at least, from the back, he actually looks a lot better, I think. And I think someone else mentioned that. I think it was on. I think it was when Essex was having a chat with the Drunken Orc on what's your show called, Essex? Feel free to plug your show and drop a link in the chat that you did with the Drunken Orc. So yeah, they were having a chat, and I think Sid said at one point, he looks better from the back, and I was like, he's actually really right there. He's spot on. He does look better from the back. But from the front, it looks like a Saturday morning cartoon villain, and I said this on the stream last week, I think. He looks like they take your favourite villain from a Saturday morning cartoon, but then they update the animation on the cartoon. They bring in new artists and stuff to redesign the cartoon, redraw the cartoon. Like, remember Turtles from back in the day, from like the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, the cartoon then? That's how I remember it. That's how I want Turtles to look, yeah? Modern day Turtles look completely different now. So it's like, I don't like it. And it's like they've taken orcs and they've asked someone, a different artist, to do them, and they've rethought, redesigned, and it makes the proportions look all squished and a bit chibi to me. So that's what the Beast Snagger Boss looks like to me. Looks a bit chibi and a bit like Saturday morning cartoon animation now versus late 80s, early 90s kind of thing. The other one I'm not a huge fan of, but we'll have to wait and see if we can remove the armour plate on its head, is the Trampler Squig. on the rig, the trampler squig that's pulling that rig, and it just, again, looks a bit chibi. It looks a bit Saturday morning cartoonish to me. So I'm not a huge fan of it, but we'll have to wait and see until I see it in person. I'll still get that unit. I'm not going to get the War Boss. Not anytime soon anyway with the War Boss. I may get him in the future. But yeah, I'll still get that rig unit, and I'll see what I can do to make it look a little less chibi. It looks a bit like all the muscles in the shoulders rather than the rump and stuff. And I understand that GW, they've designed kits like that for a few years, actually, of Beasts of Burden. I can't remember. It's one of the Chaos Chariots or something. They've got these big beasts pulling them, but all of the weight in the thing is at the front. Whereas if you look at a horse, they go for the ox look rather than the horse look. But if you look at like a Shire horse, all of its strength and its power is in its hind legs and its rump. A Beast of Burden doesn't have to have, that walks around on all fours, doesn't have to have all of its weight in its shoulders. It can have it in its rump. But GW seem to like to put all the weight in the rump on these Beasts of Burden kits. So it ends up looking a bit chibi for me. If I can take that armor plate off, though, and you can see a bit more of the head, and it looks a bit smaller at the front, then maybe I'll prefer it. But we'll have to wait and see. Wait and see what I can do with it. It's been leaked, and yeah, they have a culture, warlord trait, and stratagem. Yeah, I saw. I didn't watch it before I started, but Brack the Warboss has put a video up on YouTube where he's talking about Warboss traits, at least. Warboss traits, warlord traits, not Warboss trait. Well, technically, a lot of the time it is a Warboss trait. The thing I'm happiest about is I'm bringing back the War Boss in Mega Armor, because it's such an iconic unit. The model isn't my favourite. I really like the model myself, and that's the thing. Just because I don't like the Beast Snagger War Boss doesn't mean you won't like the Beast Snagger War Boss. Just because you don't like the Mega Armor War Boss doesn't mean I won't like the Mega Armor War Boss. So GW will always please some with their kits and not others. And I'm quite lucky. Out of all the kits that they've released for Orcs in the past, or that they are releasing for Orcs this year, there's only like one or two things that I don't like about them. One is the entire kit. The other is like that Beast of Burden at the front. For the most part, even the Death Copters, I was saying I slightly prefer the Black Reach ones, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to get these new Death Copters. I like them still. I don't hate them or anything. So I'm quite lucky in that regard. Some people don't like the Orc aesthetic in general now, whereas they were massive fans of them in the early to mid 90s and stuff like that. What's my favourite of the new releases? We'll get to that in a second. Find out before I leave. We have been going, I'd just like to point out, we have been going for an hour and 10 minutes now, although the first 10 minutes was basically me setting up the show, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. We may well go till 9. We'll have to wait and see. So we may well go for another half hour for anyone not UK based. I hate when they release Kodaks and then you have to wait months for the models to actually be available. Yeah. One thing I had planned to do was to convert a load of Beast Snaggers before the kit was launched, and this Pain Boss was one of them. And another one was going to be... Oh, look at him. Isn't he a juicy boy? Juicy boy. Juicy. I don't know why he's juicy, but hey, juicy boy, why not? Yeah, so one was the Pain Boss. One was going to be the Mega Knob on Ed Smasher Squig. And I've also got some third party, which I may well work on this week, actually. Third party Squig Riders, Beast Riders, whatever they're called. Squig Hog Riders. Which aren't available anymore because the company that was making them, I think Bulwark Gaming, but I always get that wrong, so don't quote me on that. The company that was making them got a stop being naughty letter from GW, which, GW, they have to protect their IP, so you understand why they say... Well, I understand why they send those letters out anyway. Sometimes they try and send them out when maybe they shouldn't be sending them out, but they feel their IP is being infringed, so they send them out anyway. Yeah, but I get that. like when the Beast Snaggers came out, I think it was Bulwark. Like I said, I think it was Bulwark Gaming, but don't quote me on that. I got them through Warmaster, Warmaster's Forge, because he's a licensed seller for whoever the company is that made them. So if you go to Warmaster's Forge, you'll be able to find out what companies he deals with, and it's the one that he's got a lot of orcs from, basically. What was I saying? Can't remember. Doesn't matter. You can get the Black Reach Deathcopters from Revel, or at least you could. Yeah, you could for a little while. Yeah, for sure. Otherwise, I wouldn't have my Custodes, and I would have a full Gravis Crimson Fist army. Oh, wait a minute. I've missed that first comment, so I was like, what's that in relation to? Oh, right. No, wait. I hate it when they release Codex and you have to wait months for the actual model to be released. Otherwise, I wouldn't have my Custodes, and I'd have a full Gravis Crimson Fist army. You know what? Should have waited, Loner. You should have waited. Should have been more patient. What's up with you? Warboss in Mega Armor being back in the Codex is fantastic. Shame you can't give him a Power Claw. Does he? I thought... I half watched Brack's video this morning when I was in bed. I woke up at about 5 this morning. I just thought, I might as well start getting ready to get up and that. And I half watched Brack's video, but I thought the other option was a Power Claw. So I'm guessing it's a Chopper and a Slugger, or a... Unless he was just saying Power Claw because you can't have a Power Claw, and I thought he could have a second option. I don't know. I'll have to rewatch the video. I imagine your opponents wouldn't care if you counted the Power Claw as a huge chopper. Yeah, to be fair, I think most people that you play in a casual setting at least are fine with stuff like that. I'm fine with stuff like that anyway. Gore Beasts, yes, thank you, Lona. So those Beasts of Burden that I was referring to earlier, the Gore Beasts. I'd rather take the Orruk Mega Boss and make him into a Beast Boss. Is it called a Beast Boss that then? Yeah. You know what? I was about to reach... Oh, he's over there. He's slid under the back of my desk. I was about to reach for my Orruk Mega Boss and go, hey, yeah, great minds think alike. But, you know, it's too far away. I can't be bothered. It's okay. You get the dance anyway. Yeah, but I've got one to do a conversion with. I'm so cool. Just watching myself back there on the YouTube feed. I'm like, yes, I am so cool. The Odd Boys pilot. Feature length episode. Yeah, it was a really good show that. If you like, or if you liked at least, I know we had a chat on Twitch the other day about the war bosses of the apocalypse, and sometimes it can get a bit salty and stuff with certain members of the team who I think they'll be fine with me naming them. Basically with Dim and Skarnir sometimes as well, they can get a bit salty, a bit bitter about the way GW were going with orcs, because they're long-time orc players, collectors, and they are those people I was referring to earlier who, long ago, they've collected orcs for long enough to like a certain aesthetic, and the way GW are changing them now, they're changing the lore and stuff like that. They don't like that sort of thing. Down with that sort of thing. Careful now. And they, so they're not huge fans of a lot of the newer stuff GW are doing with orcs. So, and that can come across in the 4 war bosses thing sometimes. Whereas the Essex Boys show, Essex Boys and Drunken Orcs show, has a feel of the early war bosses episodes, war bosses of the apocalypse episodes, where it was more fun and less doom and gloom kind of thing. I still watch the War Bosses, just for the record. I still watch the War Bosses show, and most of the time I really enjoy it. It's just sometimes there's a long rant or two in there, and it kind of like takes the wind out your sails and kind of thing. It gets you worked up rather than getting you excited and having a good time. I think I'm thinking about trying to head swap between the Beast Boss on foot and the one riding the big squig. I don't know if I'll be able to do it without seeing the sprues. Yeah, that's the problem. You've got to see the sprues first, haven't you? So, or just how, if you can build the model, say, attach the head to the torso and then saw off at the neck, you might be able to do something, mid-build kind of thing. But you might not again, so you'll have to wait and see. Right, so what is my favourite of the new releases? Answer, I don't know. I don't know. What have we had shown? I like the War Boss in Mega Armor, but the lack of options is a little... Hey, should we turn that off now? Nah, let's leave it there, just in case I want to show anything else off. The lack of options is a little frustrating. I understand everyone's frustration with the lack of options. Right. I really like the new boys. The bums aren't as big as the old boys, but the spines aren't as curved either. I really like the new boys. I think they look fantastic. They look beefier. You know what? It might be. Now, once I've finished this stream, I don't think this is going to work. There's a connection come loose somewhere, so I'm going to have to move this out of the way now. Boom. Turn that light off. Yeah, so it might be the knobs from the new boys kits. I really like the size of those knobs. They look like beefy boy knobs because they're overhanging a 32mm base. So they're bigger than the current knobs, or at least the stance is wider than the current knob stance. They look big, those knobs, and I am excited by big knobs. Clip that if you want. You know, you can clip on YouTube now. These companies, Facebook, Instagram, they all steal things off each other, and it's like, how do you just get away with doing that without it becoming an issue, like a copywritten issue kind of thing? Madness. And you can't copyright. And can you copyright an action? I don't know. Probably not. Yeah. Without going. Oh, you know what? No. Right. I'll tell you exactly what I'm most excited about new releases. How you doing, Ahmed Badr? Welcome to the stream. Pleasure to have you here. I'm going to be wrapping up shortly, but it's nice of you to pop in. Thank you very much. Yeah, so of the new releases, what am I most excited about? The Commandos. I've always loved the idea of a sneaky orc, and all the options we're getting in the Kill Team kit, because Commandos are going to be playable in Kill Team. Now, whether these options will be available in 40k, it remains to be seen. It was heavily indicated, I thought, by Adam Troke, and potentially in one of the articles as well, I can't remember exactly, heavily indicated that all of the options in the kit aren't going to be available to use in 40k. So we might not get the Sniper Commando in 40k, we might not get the Battering Ram Commando in 40k, that kind of thing. And we might not even get the Burner Commando in 40k. We used to have it, but then in the more recent codices, we've not had it. But yeah, that's what I'm most excited about, the new Commandos, because I've always loved the idea of a sneaky orc. I'm a Morker at heart. I'm a thinking man's war boss, or thinking man's mech boss. And yeah, so it's got to be the Commandos for me that are the most exciting. The trouble is, when someone puts me on the spot with a question like that, what's your favourite something? Like, what's your favourite song of all time? What's your favourite band of all time? I don't know. I like different things at different times throughout my life. Oh no, what's happening? I don't know. Oh. So when someone asks me, what's your favourite of the new releases, I have to think, or the upcoming releases, what we've had revealed so far, I have to think back through all the kits and we've had. And I've not counted them since it's shown us all we're getting. But we had about 8 revealed at the time, and then Eddie Eccles said that's only half. So theoretically, we should have about 16 kits, new kits. So to say, Preston, welcome to the stream. Pleasure to have you here. I'm not going on for too much longer, but it's nice of you to pop in. Thank you very much. Yeah, so when somebody puts me on the spot like that, I've got to try and think what kits we've seen, what kits we haven't had released yet. Well, we've had no kits released yet, but we've had the Beast Snaggers up for pre-order yesterday. Of the Beast Snagger kits, if you wanted a choice of the Beast Snagger kits in particular, it's got to be the Great White Squid kit, because I'm excited. Both of the riders of that kit, I think, look fantastic, and I'll be using both of them, I think. One for my... I'm going to do probably a Head Smasher Squig knob conversion, so I'll probably use one of the bodies off that for that, and the other one for I don't know, maybe I'll just build him as a character, but I've not got any snake bites really, but I could easily just run my bee snaggers as snake bites. I've got what were going to be snake bite mega knobs in the cabinet here, which are converted from the Oruk Ard Boys, Iron Jaw, but I don't know what they're called. The ones with lots of armor on. So they're mega knobs essentially. So yeah, I could use them, run them as beast snaggers, as snake bites alongside the beast snaggers or something. One of them even has a snake bite boss pole, so, but they'll be running in my Death Skull Force mostly. But that's my beast snagger paint job is going to be like reds, blues, and whites mainly, and blacks. Reds, blues, whites, and blacks mainly. So yeah. Lona said earlier, can't wait for the speed paint video. I am hoping to pick up my copy of the Beast Snagger box from Element Games early next Saturday. Or, who knows, I mean, it'd be a bit late for me, but if they say stay open for people to collect at 12 midnight on Friday, I may well nip down then and grab it. I don't think they will, though. It's not that big a release. The Squig Lebowski, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Pleasure to have you here. So I'm hoping to pick up the box on Saturday. So theoretically, by next Sunday, I should have at least a squad or a character built, and I should be working on Beast Snaggers by next week. But I'll be doing a lot of work off stream on them as well. So I am hoping within a matter of weeks to have my Beast Snaggers painted. Anybody that's been watching my channel or my Twitch streams or following me on Instagram for a little while will know that I'm not the quickest painter. So don't expect them to be finished anytime sooner than, about a month or something. At least a month I've got to give myself, I think. But I could well, if I get the boys done quick, there's 20 of them. If I say get a squad of 10 boys done in a couple of days and a squad of 10 boys done in a couple of days and then another squad of 10 boys done in a couple of days, then theoretically it should be doing quite well. Plastic Rock Gaming, welcome to stream 8. Pleasure to have you here, Scarney. You're a quicker painter than me, Lum. And don't be daft. Don't be daft. You convert your models and then paint them. Have you seen how fast you've done them, cruel boys? You're crazy. Right, so, as I've been saying, welcome to the stream. As I've been saying for a little while now, I'm going to be wrapping up the show. Your YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Nah, it's fine, mate. What are you talking about? Thank you very much for everybody that's tuned in. It's been a pleasure to have you all here. I just wanted to share some thoughts on what's been going on in the past few weeks, what's been going on for me this year in terms of the 365 Painting Challenge. Let's have a nice summary, shall we? So I'm 5 days ahead on the 365 Painting Challenge. I'm 5 days ahead on the 365 Painting Challenge. It's been a learning experience and everything. Am I managing to get any painting done in this heat? Yes, I am. Heat doesn't affect me. Heat does affect me. I hate painting when it's hot. It's always the same with YouTube notifications area. Terrible, exactly, yeah. Thank you very much for that, Essex. Love that everyone starts showing up towards the planned end of the stream. I can't keep going. I've got to do some shopping for a mate that's isolating. So the mate that's isolating is like an hour drive away. But it's okay. I've got to do a bit of shopping for a mate that's isolating. So I'm going to have to shoot anyway. But it's been fantastic chatting with you and showing you a little bit of what I've been working on. For Scar, who's just showed up, I want to show you this paint boss that if you're still here, that I've been working on it. This was going to be my entry into the Mayhem Challenge. Why did it was focused before when my bloody face was there? There we go. Wait a minute, I'll duck out the way, see if it focuses on. I can't get it in screen. There, that's my pain boss conversion anyway. Roughly see it. Yeah, so there's a pain boss conversion, and I just got my wash into the 5-eye block colour last night in the damn heat. So the 12 for the unit are all in the same condition. So the 12 left for the unit all in the same condition, ready for some attention. Fantastic stuff. Liking the Burner Boy mask, thank you very much. Yeah, I wanted to tie it to the proper GW model a little bit with that iron mask kind of look. So I think I've achieved it. I'm quite happy with it anyway. Once it's painted up, we'll see if I'm really happy with it or not, though. Yeah, it's been a pleasure letting you know how I'm doing on my 365 challenge. I'm doing well. How I feel about the Beast Snagger launch. I feel good about it, but I know everybody doesn't, and it's a little frustrating, or very frustrating for people sometimes, when there's limited availability of stuff. It seems, though, that tournament organisers are reacting to the dual codex thing quickly by the sounds of it. So, theoretically, due to general community organisation, theoretically, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And then, hopefully, we'll get the new codex in the not-too-distant future on general release. As long as you're happy, I'm chuffed about it too. Be Honestum Snakebite Love. I'm chuffed about it to be. I can't read what that says, Squig. Take it easy, mate. Pleasure to have everyone here today, listening to me ramble on. Don't forget, if you want to help support the channel, you can do. But when I've just done it, I feel like I'm cheating you when I've done a just chatting stream and I'm asking you to help support the channel. But you can. There's a link to Patreon in the description below if you want to support the channel. You can buy a snazzy shirt for me or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. Boom! Modelling for Advantage right in at the end there. You can also follow me on Twitch, and you can subscribe to me on Twitch if you want as well. That's another big way to support the channel. I'm on Instagram too. Beast Snaggers! Thank you very much to everybody who's tuned in today. To be honest, Snakebite Love. Literally ignore the B. It's a typey. It's a typey. A typo. Oh, it's a typey, is it? Right, so thank you very much for everybody who's joined me. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, as always. And, yes, FML. And it's not a B. Thank you very much to everybody that's been watching. And I'll see you